Thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Vincent Gasana. I work with the KT Press. So it seems a startling thing to say, but all things considered, the crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo could be ended in a mere matter of days if everybody else were to acknowledge the real causes of the conflict openly. But instead, people seem to be intent on focusing on claims from the UN group of expert reports. There is the recent statement from President Joao Lourenço, for instance, on the M23 Rebel Alliance entry into Masisi, seems to go on a supposed threat to territorial integrity of the DRC instead of the real causes of the conflict. So one wonders, Your Excellency, beyond signing more agreements that a lot of the signatories tend to promptly ignore, can Your Excellency envisage anything else that can be done to bring everybody around the real causes of the conflict and focus on that and get beyond the impasse and the obvious impediments to peace? Thank you very much indeed.
Right. Much as I said, I didn't have much to say, as was prompted by the moderator. Let me first of all welcome you and once again wish you a happy New Year. I hope the New Year will bring blessings to all of us. I think we had time to talk about the last year. And the last year ended well. We're now in the new year. As a country, as a people, this country and our partners and myself, we hope we can continue the good progress we made last year and do even more, including probably realizing peace in our region. We are looking forward to that. So that is the starting point of my answer to your question. This problem of Eastern Congo, which I have in the past even explained as not just Eastern Congo problem, but Congo's problem as a whole, and the problem for our region, the problem for our continent and the rest of the world. But every time it is referred to as Eastern Congo problem, in a way rightly so, because it is centered there. But the cause of it and many factors that perpetuate that problem are from different parts of the world, including from the big countries as we know them, the powerful countries as we know them. In fact, that problem has roots in the history of that country, the history of our region, and the history of our continent, relating to even the early days of colonial time. That's why many times I'm surprised. Let me go straight now to the issue raised, talking about, say, sovereignty, territorial integrity. As you said, in the statement made from Angola, how do these matters arise really, in a sense? M23 you talk about. These are Congolese. Even to the admission of Congo's leaders, the past and the present. Now, why are they fighting? Why do we have over 100,000 refugees here in Rwanda, originating from that region? Why? Why do we have refugees here? Is it because Rwanda wants refugees and attracted them from Congo to come to Rwanda? I said the first question, M23, why would they be fighting? They just like fighting. So, in the fighting that is happening in Eastern Congo, and you call that violation of sovereignty, territorial integrity, how does it arise? So, on one hand, these are Congolese. On the other hand, they are foreigners. So how do they combine these two identities? How do they happen to be Congolese on one hand, and then they are foreigners who have invaded Congo and therefore breaching everything about sovereignty and territorial integrity? Maybe they mean something else. Let me also try to explain that. Those who make such statements, I would remind them and remind you here, and I know you know, people play like they are ignorant about things, yet they are supposed to be experts of that. This fighting that is happening in Eastern Congo, that has been going on for these last years, you mean here in this room, people don't know how that started, where it originated from? These groups fighting in Congo, the fighting that was started 2 more years ago, these people fighting did not come from Rwanda as of the time the war started, or they started the war fighting. Maybe I even don't know whether it qualifies as such. These people they are of Rwandese background. I don't know whether it would even be right to say they originated from Rwanda. Most of them, Congo found them where they are or where they were. It's not that there was a movement from Rwanda. Maybe some might have originated from Rwanda by this movement from Rwanda to that part, long ago. Even either before I was born or when I was a kid myself. But what I meant that Congo found these people there has to do with this history I'm talking about, of colonial times and the drawing of colonial borders. But that's why also the Congolese leaders at one point admit that these are Congolese, and then try to find another reason and say, oh, but the fighting is supported by Rwanda. But they can't tell anybody and convince anybody that the actual people who are fighting now, who started this fighting we're talking about, came from Rwanda. They did not come from Rwanda. These leaders of M23 and the majority of their fighters came from Uganda, where they had been as refugees who ran away from, or as a result of solving the problem of 2012, 2013, when these people moved to Uganda and others came here. I remember for specific actually number, those who came here were between 500 and 600, whom we disarmed and gave back arms to the government of DRC at the time. And they had been kept here for a long time until when things as they kept changing, the government of DRC used to send even their officials to come and speak to people here where we had held them in camps, to speak them purportedly to resolve their problems. It went on back and forth for a long time. The problems were never resolved. But these are not the ones who started the fighting. And if you want to see where these people, most of them are still here. The fighting was started by the main group that was in and from Uganda. So how did it become Rwanda's problem, honestly? What is the basis? And for how long do we explain this? Up to what point? These people, the ones who lead this, and then the other hundreds of groups fighting in Eastern Congo, have nothing to do with Rwanda. The only reason Rwanda comes into question now for this is for a couple of reasons. One, these are Rwandophones, they speak in Rwanda. Well, but that is also what maybe became their main crime in Congo. So if they speak Kinyarwanda, that has turned into reasons for persecution. And that's why we have refugees here for over 2 decades. The other reason is the FDLR that has been these genociders who have been in Congo for the last 30 years, whom the international community have really entertained. I think they have deliberately preserved them. I don't know for what. Whether it is a gift of thanks to them for having committed genocide here, or preserved them because they are anti-Rwanda and government, and therefore they would use them as and whenever that is possible against Rwanda, to control Rwanda, to manage it the way they want. Otherwise, tell me, part of the reason is MONUSCO, this UN force, is in Eastern Congo, in the DRC, was actually to address this problem of FDLR that kept changing names over time. But after 30 years, if you ask the UN and say, what happened? If you really ask them what they've been doing for the last 30 years they've been there, and with tens of billions of dollars they have spent on it, what is there to show for that effort that was made? Only to end up blaming Rwanda for everything that is happening in Eastern Congo, or really in the Congo, because even all problems of Congo are blamed on Rwanda by these so-called international community members, and together and in support of the DRC government. If DRC government is not encouraged to take its own responsibility for its people and its country, and everybody joins them to blame others for their problems, how do you expect Congo to actually address these problems that affect all of us? How? So the statement you referred to, therefore, is part of this, I don't know what to call it, honestly, but it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up for any solution to the problems at hand that we need to be addressing. I don't see how. Well, I imagine a scenario where if we didn't have Rwanda at all, or if you could relocate Rwanda to another part of the world and remove it from here, would that solve the problems of Congo or of the region? Really? So, and people get lost in the blame game, this, this, that, and forget to really address the root causes of the problems we have and find a solution. And then you have geopolitics being played into all this. Then you have the blame of colonial times being managed somehow, because those who were involved in the colonial times and who are blamed for it have the power to manipulate, and always fall short of doing what is right. You find they have groups they create, they say groups of experts I mean, how do you expert in doing what? Then you find the groups of experts. These experts are led by people who are supposed to come and really cover up the blame that should be leveled against those who are responsible for those literary crimes of that past of colonial times. And they've been here in Eastern Congo or in Congo, groups of experts. What expertise? Expertise to come and terrorize? You know, these groups, the people making up these experts, you know, in broad daylight, killings, persecution, all kinds of stuff are done by people they see, government leaders in Congo, commanders, people belonging to either the police, the army, in broad daylight lynching people. This one is kept quiet about, and then the next, these experts write a whole, they pile up crimes committed by M23. They talk about things somewhere in the background, in the villages, and they don't talk about these things that were done in towns, in broad daylight, before their eyes. Then they talk about, you know, M23 violating, you know, human rights and so on and so forth. And then Rwanda behind supporting them, and Rwanda is supposed to be there stealing minerals of Congo. So the whole thing is shifted from what the problem really is to some other imaginary problem they have created. And they really make people believe that. But honestly, for the last 30 years, if anybody wanted to understand what the problems are and what the solutions should be, you don't even need to be an expert. You just need to be wanting to resolve these problems and allowing people to have peace. So when you ask me what next do I think, I mean, what I think should happen is what I have thought from the beginning and have spoken out very loudly to whoever needed to listen. This problem is not insurmountable. It can be addressed. It can end. It should have ended in actual fact long ago. But you can't end it by manipulation. You can't end it by playing games. So, one, does FDLR exist in that situation or not? Do people understand the history of FDLR or not? So why should FDLR be an issue even for discussion? Or why should it be a big problem that can't be resolved? We told these people, whoever was involved, that you can, we started with DRC itself, even before the current administration in DRC. We used to approach these people. We even approached the current administration. We said, let's work together to resolve this problem, and that we will support you with whatever you think you need, and we will avail ourselves and our resources to actually help you fight this FDLR and eliminate it from. And they refused. I had even given them advice that, you see, Uganda has a problem of ADF and others based in Congo. We have a problem of FDLR based in Congo. Burundi also says they have a problem based in Congo. I said, why can't we, all of us, work together? Uganda works with the DRC, Rwanda works with the DRC, Burundi works with the DRC to eliminate the threat to security along our borders. I suggested to them, to the current administration, in 2019. Now, what they did, they allowed Uganda to go and to send in their troops to go and fight ADF. They allowed Burundi to quietly go into DRC to fight whichever their groups they are fighting are. When it came to Rwanda, they refused. Of course, that means something. They refused because either on their own or on advice by whoever, they actually didn't want this problem of FDLR addressed. This was way before this M23 problem flared up. And as I mentioned to you, the main bulk, like the others, maybe they have been recruited from different places, but the main bulk of this group, including the leaders of M23, came from Uganda. They did not come from Rwanda. This is a basic fact you should all be knowing. Then ask yourselves, so how did it become Rwanda's problem? So why doesn't DRC address the problems of their own people? Why do they have to put the weight of that on our shoulders? Why don't they take away these 100,000 plus refugees here? Take them back home. Now, to show you the connection with these other countries, for all the time this problem has been there, some of these refugees, these countries, United States, Canada, Scandinavian countries, other countries, they've been coming here and selecting people from these camps that they would go and relocate in their countries. They've been doing it over a long time, but they have not taken many people. Out of 130,000 we have here, they have maybe among these countries, they have maybe relocated for settlement in their areas about, can't be more than 11,000 over 20 years. So do these people come and take these refugees, or these people, knowing that they are taking Rwandese or they are taking Congolese? They definitely know they are taking Congolese. So how about those who are staying here and have not found a home anywhere in these areas? What happens to them? And they are coming every day, every time, with this fighting going on. So then they quickly find a solution in saying, let's blame Rwanda for everything. Then they make statements. Rwanda backed M23. is doing this, is doing Rwanda, 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 Rwanda every day. Rwanda must remove their forces. Well, so I asked another time when we were having a conference like this, if anybody thinks Rwanda is in DRC, why should Rwanda be in DRC? They should ask themselves that question. If you want to blame Rwanda for being in DRC, can you also make an effort and try to reason and say, okay, but yeah, it's true, Rwanda is in DRC. Rwandan forces are in DRC. But why? Why should they be in DRC? So that's why they quickly find an answer and say, they are there to steal minerals. Okay, suppose that is also true, if you think that is true. What happened to FDLR? Or what happened to what produced refugees to be here in their hundreds of thousands? What happened? Why? Was it because RDF was stealing minerals in Congo? That's why these refugees came here? Is it? So where is the FDLR? FDLR is nowhere. You don't remember 2019 and later on afterwards 21 and so on, when there were 2019 in November, I remember there was an incursion through Virunga Mountains, invaded our country, areas of UKENEYE and in Musanze. These were FDLR. Afterwards, the bombardment that came from DRC onto our territory. There we held a Commonwealth conference here. So the bombardment that was, and it killed our people. And we raised these matters with the government of DRC. Now, so everything is, oh no, they are there just stealing minerals. Okay, if you are right on this, how about these other issues? How have you addressed them? So, my dear friend, I've given you a long answer. I wanted to really be quoted correctly, and I hope you will. This problem can be addressed, but it cannot be addressed by just having processes where the only thing, in fact, it's really sad. We have processes and we have leaders leading these processes, and what becomes more important is the appearance, the camera appearance. It's being seen there to be signing something, and that becomes an end in itself. You leave the problem intact, you don't address it. Oh, but you didn't go to Rwanda. Okay, how about the time I went there? What happened? Because there are times I have been in these. In fact, up to a point I got tired of going. We have meetings in Nairobi, I was always present. We have meetings in Rwanda, I was always present. We have wherever there were meetings to discuss how to end this problem, Rwanda was present. But in the end, even now as we speak, the importance is not ending the problem, the importance is in the process. It's in the appearance to be photographed and you say you were in Rwanda. So if you're not there, but I have discovered that being there and not being there amounts to the same thing. It doesn't address the problem. So we have to find a way of addressing the problems. Not processes becoming an end in themselves. Not the leaders of those processes holding people's hands and doing this being an end in itself. We have to have results built on addressing the root causes. And another time they say, oh, Rwanda, you see, you have influence on M23. By the way, influence just because some of those guys will speak the same language, so that becomes an influence. Okay, but let's assume we have the influence. And I have been asking these people, so okay, what do you want me to tell these people? Do you really want me? What do you want me? Give me a message to take to these people over whom I have influence. And as I see, they stop fighting. Okay, that one I can do. But what follows that next? Because if I tell them to stop fighting, and they are attacked and killed, who takes the blame? It's not you who sent me to tell them, it's actually me. Meaning I lured the people into, but then in all conscience, do you also want me to go and tell people that you should accept being denied your rights and keep quiet because some people, some powers are not happy? So maybe that's what they want me to tell these people. I can't. You never. It happened when we met, you must have seen it, when I met President Tshisekedi in New York around General Assembly. And we had with us President of France, President Macron. At that time they were telling me, please give these people a message. They leave Bunagana. There is a place they had taken over called Bunagana, the border with Uganda. Otherwise, fighting will continue. I said, okay, I can even transmit your message, just out of politeness. But if I tell them to leave Bunagana and get lost, first of all, where do they go? Secondly, are you going to follow that with addressing their problem they are fighting for? And there was no clear, but anyway, I came back, I sent a message, sent intelligence people to tell them. I said, for the good of the peace process, maybe somebody is thinking about to bring peace, you leave Bunagana as a symbol that you want to have a peace process going on and resolve the problem. As they are about to, they agreed with the message I sent to them. In other words, they agreed with me. As they were preparing to leave, they were attacked. There was a serious fighting. And then I called up these leaders. I said, but you people, you lied to me. You told me I should transmit a message that these people should leave, and then that will help a process to resolve the problem. then little did I know the intention was actually maybe to attack them when they thought it wasn't going to be the case. So from that time, things have been like that over and over and over and over and over again. These government forces attack. In most cases, they are beaten back. And then there is a loudspeaker everywhere announcing how M23 has been violating ceasefire. You attack, we fight, I push you back, and then I'm the one who violated the ceasefire. This has been what goes on every day. And even with these experts that we have in place, they cannot tell, but that shows it's not that they can't tell what is the truth. It's just that the truth is not what they want. It's not what they like. It's completely different. So Rwanda, while we may be blamed for other people's problems, we are also happy to be blamed for our own problems of trying to defend ourselves, if that is what it means. We will defend ourselves at any cost. There's no question about it. I have told those who are behind all this in a very clear language. They keep asking me the same questions. I keep giving them the same answers. If there is anything that I can compromise on, it has nothing to do with ceding even a millimeter in terms of preserving the security of our country. Absolutely not. So, my friend who asked the question, the answers are obvious, they are known. But in their heads, these other people have their own other way of looking at things. They don't care about us. They don't care about anybody. They care about themselves. If you want to allow yourself to open up, to be crushed, you get crushed, and that's not their business. They really facilitate that. So let me end up the long story here, but it is an accumulation of, I have been silent for a long time. So I thought I needed maybe to go back into a little bit of the history of the problem. But the facts are clear. It's only those who don't want the facts that have other ways of looking at things. All right. Maybe that answers all the questions you had in mind, but we can open up for more questions.
Your Excellency.